Fellas, are we cooking or are we cooked? I can't tell anymore. So I think I speak for everybody when I say that the finals is not in a good spot right now. Like, at all. 2 stale seasons in a row now. Season 9 might be a contender for one of the driest seasons that we have had in this game, and that's coming off the heels of a season that was based entirely around us all being fucking sports fans watching other people play our game. 1 new map, 1 new mode, not on each other by the way, no new gadgets, no new weapon, no significant balance changes. We basically played the exact same game for the 2nd season in a row, and a lot of us are not fucking happy about it. Look anywhere across the finals community and you're gonna see a pretty similar sentiment that the game is in trouble right now, that it's not doing very well, and that something needs to change. But ladies and gentlemen, this is not hopeless. I want to make that very clear right now. There are a couple major things going on with the game that need to get fixed, that's for fucking sure. But if those things were fixed, we would have a great sandbox in a really good position, and that's what I'm here to talk to you guys about today. This is going to encompass several smaller video ideas that I've had over the past few months that I've thought about making, but I haven't really wanted to make anything. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, this season, for the most part, has kind of demotivated me and kind of de-inspired me from making finals videos, as you've probably seen by the lackluster upload schedule. But it's the end of the season, a new season is right around the corner, so that gives me the perfect opportunity to talk about all of the things that are going wrong in the finals right now, and with that conversation, how to save the finals. Where have all the good devs gone, hiding in the deep? Getting the easy one out of the way first. Season 9, terrible content-wise. I know me and a lot of the community had the idea that Embark was using the majors as their major piece of content for Season 8 and that nothing else mattered in comparison to that. Season 9 having fuck all really reinforces that fact. They wanted Season 9 to be a quality of life season, to come off the heels of the major, and I'll be honest, if we were coming off the heels of Season 7, one of the best seasons in the game according to most people, we probably would not have minded Season 9 as much as we all did. But coming off the heels of a season where we had nothing to do but open our wallets, pour it into Oscar's mouth and go, haha, eat up, it's delicious. We really needed some content this season to enjoy ourselves with, and while it wasn't completely devoid of content, that's not exactly saying much. Like I said in the intro, no new weapons, no new specializations, no new gadgets, 1 new map, and 1 new mode. To give credit where credit is due, Point Break I really fucking enjoyed, and it's probably the thing that I played the most this season other than playing ranked on stream. Especially after the rose-tinted goggles from Battlefield kind of settled down and went away, I was really glad to have Point Break in the game so that I can enjoy some Rush-style gameplay without needing to deal with Battlefield 6's incompetent live support. And Fangwai City? I think Fangwai City is a top 5 map in this game, 100%. I think this is probably the best map, other than Nozomi Citadel, that they have released in the past year. The problem that we start to get into with Point Break and with Fangwai City is that Point Break wasn't on Fangwai. The bun and the burger were sold separately and they were not to be included in the same order, else the McDonald's gods would come and rip your ass out to sell to Ronald McDonald. That is just such a brain-dead fucking decision. I don't know what they were thinking of having this banger of a mode come out with a banger of the map and not letting you play them on each other. You know, when a map comes out that's specifically designed for something, like, we get it, you know? Kyoto was clearly designed with terminal attack and power shift in mind, so that's why it typically plays really well on both of those maps. When you play Fangwai City, I can really see how good Fangwai would play for Point Break. The problem is, we fucking can't. On top of that, Point Break only came with 3 maps: Cis Horizon, Monaco, and fucking Bernal. I don't know who the hell at Embark decided that Bernal was going to be a launch map for Point Break, but whoever you are, I just want to talk to you. Unironically, I think Kyoto would play amazingly with Point Break. I think Las Vegas would play amazingly with Point Break. Every single map in this game would go with Point Break so well, but not fucking Bernal. Bernal is the flattest map in this game by a long shot. And when you're playing Point Break on Bernal, if you don't immediately punch through and fucking get those objectives in the first like 5 minutes of each round, you're basically screwed. Because the second the defenders get set up somewhere on Bernal, it's game over. They can see you coming from every single angle. There's nowhere to hide. So the fact that they decided to include the flattest, worst laid out map for this game mode as a launch map, and not the map that they launched with the season that would have played perfectly with the game mode, it baffles me. Going into some other things that this season did, the World Tour rework I really enjoyed thoroughly. You know, it was nice to not be restricted to only playing cash out to get my World Tour progress done. Keep in mind, this season has been so much of a fucking wet fart on a hoagie roll that I'm still not Emerald even after 3 months and a 1 week extension of the season. But the fact is that I wasn't restricted from playing the other game modes, and I didn't feel like I was being punished just because I wanted to go play Point Break, or if I wanted to go play some team deathmatch and just keep my aim warm. That was a big W change as well. And I'm really glad they didn't go through with what they were proposing for the ranked rewards, making the gold, platinum, and diamond skins also available through World Tour. I disagree with Ronan about basically everything, but we agree on that one standpoint that the ranked rewards should stay in ranked. Because let's face it, if there was no reason to play ranked, everybody would just leave ranked and go play every other mode. And there are some parts of this player base that for the most part need to be contained. Now, there were some fucking basement dwellers out there that said that the World Tour changes were a horrible idea because, oh my god, now everybody can be Emerald. It's fucking worthless now. Buddy. Okay. I'm gonna hold your hand when I say this. It was always fucking worthless. Emerald has never been a measure of how good you are at the game, with the exception of Season 3, I believe, but it's always been a measure of how much time you spend in the game. And listen, I think it's wonderful that Emerald is a thing for people who want to play the game continuously, grind it out, you know, show their support to get some free weapon skins and some multi-bucks. I think that Emerald is a great system, but the people that try to gatekeep it and act like it's some kind of exclusive club, y'all are just fucking goofy. Speaking of World Tour and Ranked, the RS adjustments that they dropped this season to kind of account for the fact that it feels like it takes a day and a half to regain your progress when you lose one game, that I enjoyed as well. When you went on a nice win streak and then you lost a game, you didn't get thrown all the way back down into Silver 2, you probably just got through halfway back down Silver 1. And yeah, it still sucks, but it's ranked. I expect that if I lose, it's gonna suck. And believe me, losing in Ranked still fucking sucks. We'll get back to that later. But the changes to the ranked system overall, they did help a little bit. They didn't do enough to help though. So we'll talk more about that later. But outside of ranked, let's talk about some of the fun casual game modes that they released this season, because oh boy, there was not a lot on offer. Snowball Blitz, it's okay, all right? It's the winter LTM, it's the safe thing to bring back. I'm not gonna be pissed that they bring the safe choice back for winter. The biggest sin that they committed this season was bringing back Super Cash Ball for a single fucking weekend over Super Bowl weekend. The last video that I uploaded was me making fun of this bullshit. So if you haven't seen it, be sure to go ahead and check it out, because it honestly was the most fun I had making a video in like the past 3 months. But they brought Super Cash Ball back for 5 days. They had no unlocks to go with it. They only allowed you to buy football skins in the store, which it's not like we haven't gotten a ton of those from the battle passes or from previous seasons free events or just anything else. And then on top of that, they had the audacity, the fucking audacity to then release another mini battle pass in the middle of the season. I was very clear about my negative feelings on the TGM 25 pass, and these feelings were even bigger because they brought back an LTM just for you to go buy a fucking battle pass for it. Again, this is shit that Fortnite started doing a couple years ago before they started really falling off a fucking cliff, and I don't like seeing that writing on the wall here. You know, with this second season in a row, we've had a mini battle pass. It's starting to feel less like writing on the wall and more like a fucking poster advertising the cliff you're about to drive off of. I don't like that feeling. Again, to be completely fair and give credit where credit is due, it seems like in the finals Discord server, they got enough backlash from that they may never do it again, and they tried to frame it as, oh, well, we just want to be considerate of, you know, people wanting to play the game and have something to earn and feel like they're earning, so we put it in a battle pass, but hey, if you guys don't like that, I guess we won't do it. It's not a lack of having something to work for that's the problem with the mini battle passes. The problem is that every Valentine's Day has had a free content drop. something to grind for. I mean, sure, it was the fucking Wheel of Despair last year, which, hey, I don't like the wheel, but at least you could get some of the stuff for free. But with this Valentine's Day, this was the first time that they made you just straight out buy anything that you wanted Valentine's Day related. Nothing to earn, nothing to legitimately play for. It was just pay us money and put hearts on your gun or shut the fuck up about it. And speaking of shutting the fuck up about things, I will not shut the fuck up about how Bank It needs to come back as a full-time game mode. Bank It was the best LTM of this season by a landslide, and it's not even fucking close. Now, some of you are gonna go,
"Funny, Bank It sucks. Why the hell would I want to play Bank It when I could just play Team Deathmatch?"
Listen, buddy, having smooth skin is a flex. Having a smooth brain is not. I really think that Bank It is the mode that best encompasses the finals in a casual sense that they've ever had. Okay, everybody running around the map trying to chaotically grab the coins and bring them to the fucking depot, all the while avoiding people trying to kill them and take their coins. The main draw of the finals when it first came out was the chaos. The fact that you could go anywhere, do anything, break any fucking wall in the arena, use whatever class and weapons you wanted, and do a bunch of crazy chaotic shit with it because the sandbox was just that open. And over time, they've refined the sandbox, which means that they close down the ball pit, which definitely has pink eye in it. Okay, they go ahead and they shape up some playground equipment, so no more impaling your friends on the seesaw. And you know what, for the most part, yeah, even though it's a little less chaotic, it is better put together, so we'll go ahead and give it that. But Bank It was such a good mode to warm up with when it was a full-time mode in the game. I mean, hell, the whole time that Bank It was available as an LTM, I didn't touch a single other fucking mode. I only played Bank It, and I made sure to log in and do my dailies so that I could go get the outfit for free. Like, I'm astonished that Embark hasn't just learned this lesson yet, because when you give us free things to play for, we will log on and play for them. Like, this is the simplest math equation. This isn't even 1 + 1 = 2. This is 0 + 0 still equals 0. But when you have a situation like the Cash Ball Weekend situation, where there's nothing for us to play for, it's just, hey, play this mode for 5 days and then fuck off. That shit pisses me off. Not only does it piss me off when they bring back an LTM with no free cosmetics to grind for, but it also really pisses me off when they remove playable content from the game. This is a correction to my terminal attack rant that I had at the end of Season 8 video, but you can't play Bank It or terminal attack in any private matches. You also can't play any of the LTMs in private matches. You were able to play Heaven or Else for a little bit in private matches at the beginning of the season. I guess they forgot to fucking take it out or something. But they then remembered and they took it out. Why are you restricting how we play the game in private matches? Like, that is something that makes zero fucking sense to me. Every single time Combo goes to live stream, he ends out his stream with some private matches with everybody, and they have their custom game modes that they play that aren't available in the game, which, okay, I really hate you guys for making me praise COD for the second season in a row, but at least in the old Call of Duty games, you could save your custom game presets so that you could just come back to them with your friends whenever you decided to play private matches. But in this game, not only can you not really change any of the settings, but you can only play one of the modes that's available for matchmaking in private matches. Why is that? I see no reason why we can't play any of these removed modes in private matches, and you guys need to bring them back and stop making it so that, we can only play it during this limited window when Daddy Embark has decided we get access to the playground. Not even just talking about the LTMs that keep getting removed, but do you guys remember the old game show events that they used to have? They used to have so many game show events that would happen in the middle of a cash out or a quick cash game, and most of them have been removed. Like, gone. Zip. Zilch. Nada.
See you later.
Or more like see you never. And honestly, that's another thing that really pisses me off that they're doing, is removing content in the game that doesn't need to be removed. Dead Go Boom just came back as a permanent kind of modifier that's available in matchmaking, so I'm gonna go ahead and give a thumbs up for that. Bring everything else back now too. Come to think of it, I feel like that's something that this game has been sorely lacking in, and that's game show events. because when was the last time we got a new one that wasn't just a part of one of the world tours? Okay, the double jump event, that shit's great. If we're gonna take anything out of the game, take regular low gravity out of the fucking game and replace it with the double jump event. I don't think I'm gonna get a single hell no from anyone saying take out low grav and replace it with double jump. Okay, what about all the VIA events that were available in Season 7 where, you know, while you're cashing out, you can see through walls, or when you fucking start a cash out, it gets a dome shield around it? Like, you know, why are we not having those kind of events come back? And instead, we're just stuck with the super sterile, either low gravity, alien invasion, which doesn't really do anything, or the retro alien invasion, which is the exact same thing as the regular non-event alien invasion, except it looks like someone's playing Galaga on top of the fucking skybox. You know, this game show used to be chaotic. This game show used to tell you, hey, either figure it out or fucking go back to the lobby. And you know what we did? We figured it the fuck out. Why they keep removing content like this that just adds to our enjoyment and the variety of the game, it makes no sense to me, and it just makes me less excited to play. And last but not least, on the removing content end of things, they've removed now how many specializations and gadgets? They've removed recon senses, thermal vision, which I'm not exactly crying about thermal vision getting removed, but for all my light mains out there, y'all are slacking in content right now. They removed the stun gun and then introduced it back with the nullifier, which that wasn't too long of a turnaround, so I can't really be mad about that. But the fact remains is that they have removed playable pieces of content from the game, and it's not like we can even tell when something's going to come back either, because they straight up refuse to release a roadmap. We'll get more into a roadmap discussion later on in the video, but the first sign that Season 8 was going to be a letdown was when they just shadow dropped the whole fucking thing in the middle of the week. All of their updates happen on Thursdays, but they decided to randomly drop this on a Wednesday with no prior statements about what was getting released, what they were working on, and what changes were going to come to the game. They just said, F it. Here you go, have it all, and don't complain about it. But as I said, that is a discussion for later in the video, because right now we have to get into where's the streetwise Oscar, please, who's gonna come save me? Balancing can be its own long fucking video, and this is gonna be a long section too. We have had such little balancing changes in the past 2 seasons that it's like we're playing the exact same game. They didn't make any balancing changes in Season 8 because of the majors, and you know what? I don't like that excuse at all. You can clearly have separate builds of the game every time you demo it, so what do you mean you can't just have a separate build of the game with the majors rule set or the majors balancing that you want to have there? Maybe go ahead and use some of those private match suggestions I just gave you and create a tournament preset where maybe some things are banned, maybe some balancing is tweaked, maybe some things are unavailable, and maybe some things are a little better. You know, who the f knows? You know, nobody is gonna know until you actually try something, because this sitting around here and doing nothing and acting like we're okay with it isn't fucking helping. And there is legit no excuse for the lack of meaningful balance updates that happened with Season 9. When Season 9 came out, these were the balancing changes that they made. They added aim snapping to 11 weapons. They gave aim snapping an overall nerf. They gave the breach charge a buff. The dome shield got a buff. The frag got a buff. The gas grenade got a buff, the gateway got a nerf, the glitch grenade got rebalanced, you know, so instead of having 2 with a longer cooldown, you had 1 with a shorter cooldown. They nerfed goo, they buffed the pyro grenade, they nerfed the pyro mine, they buffed thermal bore, they buffed RPG, buffed mesh, nerfed winch, nerfed 93R, nerfed the BFR, buffed the dual blades, buffed the KS, buffed the Lewis gun, buffed the minigun, buffed the M60, buff the model, and buff the V9S. Now I know what you're sitting here thinking. You're probably thinking,
funny, you just listed off a lot of shit. What are you bitching about?
Well, the main problem here is that everything that got adjusted are the usual suspects for the adjustments. The reason the sandbox is so stale right now is because the same few toys keep getting used and then polished up. I don't know if you guys have noticed this, and please let me know down in the comments what your thoughts about this are, but Embark seems to have certain pet project guns that they love to tweak and modify, you know, like they're building a fucking diorama of Rome or some shit like that, while they largely ignore everything else in the game. For example, this data comes from the Finals wiki, so if they've got some things wrong, oh fucking well. But some of the weapons in the game that have had the most balancing changes to them are the LH1, the sword, the CL40, the model, the dual blades, the riot shield, the KS, the M60, the 1216, and worst of all, the 93R. We're about to play a fun game that I'm going to call Guess the Tweaks. I'm going to go through each of those guns and weapons that I just listed off, and I want you to tell me how many tweaks you think they've had over their lifetime, whether it's a buff or a nerf. How many total adjustments do you think each weapon has received in its time in the game? Let's start off with the LH1, the sword, the CL40, and the M60, because they're all right around each other. How many total balancing changes do you think they've had? Go ahead and guess now. If you said about 20, you'd be correct. All four of these weapons have had about 20 balance changes in their lifetime in the game, and the other ones aren't much better. Some of them are even fucking worse. Let's slide over to the dual blades, the riot shield, and the 1216. How many balance changes do you think those have had? Answer now. If you said 12 to 15, you'd be correct. Now look, the dual blades have needed some love ever since they came out, so I'm not mad that those got buffed, and the riot shield is gonna forever sit in this weird limbo of being too overpowered and too weak at the same time. So look, I hate the riot shield more than I hate Sexy Red's voice, okay? And that's saying a lot. I'm not gonna sit here and be mad that they're making adjustments to it. The 1216, however, what changes do you need to make to that gun? You've already made it so that you can never skip the cycling animation on it no matter what you do, which we'll talk a little bit about later. You have reduced the pellets, increased the pellets, reduced the rate of fire, increased the rate of fire. Like, you keep tweaking this gun back and forth when it's been in a just fine state for like 3 seasons at this point. You know, yeah, you could practically fucking lawn mow people with the 1216 when the game first came out, so you adjusted it. Good. Stop fucking with it. But okay. Enough of the 1216. Let's move on to a gun that I hold very near and dear to my heart, the KS-23, the recipient of my currently most watched episode of I Taught Myself So You Don't Have To, link in description by the way. How many balancing adjustments do you think the KS has had in its lifetime? If you answered 28, you'd be correct. The KS has needed a lot of love in its time in the game. That much is fucking certain. But what do you mean the KS needs more adjustments every single season? Look, I was successfully using the KS back in season 6 and 7, so, you know, yeah, I'm always gonna say hell yeah to a KS buff because it's a gun that I really like using. I'm not saying that the KS shouldn't be good. What I am saying is that why do we have to keep doing so many small intermittent tweaks to this gun rather than just saying, okay, fuck it, let's make it strong, and if it's too strong, then we'll worry about it later. Like, they're so worried to make a gun good, they power creep a weapon until it's fucking Shaquille O'Neal, and then they realize that they want Peter Dinklage back and just cut that shit down. Back to the game show. Last but not least, we have the 93R. How many balancing changes do you think the 93R's gotten? If you answered 32, you'd be correct. The 93R, over the course of its time in the game, has gotten 25 buffs and 7 nerfs, okay? Every season, they're tweaking the 93R. Every season, they're doing something to it while ignoring all the other weapons in the game. 10 out of the 36 weapons in this game have gotten more than half of the balancing changes. Like, what kind of shit is that? You know, meanwhile, there have been weapons in this game that have needed love since the day they were released and have gotten fucking none. Weapons like, I don't know, the double barrel, the spear, the shack, and most of all, the MGL. Almost everybody agrees that the double barrel is bullshit and that if you use the double barrel, your mom's a hoe. And yet, it has remained untouched for an inordinate amount of time. The main problem with the double barrel is that you can quickly just one-shot 2 people on a team, and after a quick reload, one-shot the third person and be done with it.
But funny, you need to get right up in their face to use the double barrel, so it doesn't really matter.
Thanks for the input. Your mom's still a hoe. Honestly, the double barrel needs one change and one change only. Make it so that both barrels load off at the same fucking time. So that way, sure, you might go ahead and one-shot one person on the enemy team, but you are not going to get 2 without reloading and being able to move about without fucking fucking getting swatted. Sure, that would mean that the double barrel could one-shot anyone, but you would never have a situation where two of your teammates are both down at the same time because they ran up with a double barrel and one-tapped both of them. But that's just one proposed change. Personally, I think give it the recon census treatment and feed it to the fucking sharks, but people would cry about it because they've grinded for double barrel skins. So that ain't an option. Moving on to another weapon that's been chronically overpowered since it released, the Shack. The Shack has been the single best heavy weapon in the game since Season 5 when it released, and they have yet to nerf it at all. As I said, I disagree with Ronan and most of the pro players and pro content creators about most things, but one thing that I do agree with them with is that the Shack needs to be tuned a bit, and I swear to God, I am not fucking saying nerf the Shack into the ground. I don't want an army of Peter Dinklage guns running everywhere because they decided to make everything suck. What I am saying is tune it a little bit, you know, make a small adjustment, you know, you can get on the horse and make quick adjustments for a bunch of other things, talk about that in a bit, but the Shack has been untouched, just completely ignored, and it runs amok everywhere that it is. I refuse to play ranked without the Shack because I just know it's the best choice. I'm begging you, let there be another good option. Do not nerf the Shack to the point that it's useless, but give us competing options at least. And speaking of competing options, the Spear, my love, the weapon that I love even though the whole world tells me I'm wrong for it. Why has that been ignored for seasons upon seasons? The Spear has needed some buffs since it got released, okay? And for everybody who's gonna go, oh,
I want to be able to throw the spear.
stop fucking saying that. I want to just be able to cancel the spin and maybe have the spin be a little faster. I don't care if the Spear never gets touched again, but at least give me a little bit more competitive viability with it. Like I've deadass had some World Tour games where I'm popping in, I've got the Spear out, and then my teammates go, hey, get off the Spear, it sucks. Use Sledge instead. Like, if I wanted to use Sledge, I would use Sledge. I want to use Spear. And I'm someone that does pretty well with the Spear. You know, go watch the I Taught Myself video on the Spear if you haven't already. You can do some pretty crazy shit with the Spear. But as much as I love the Spear, I acknowledge that it needs a buff. A lot of people would straight up say that the Spear is the worst weapon in the game. So why the hell has it not been buffed or touched at all? The only weapon in the game that people argue is worse than the Spear is the MGL. The MGL has been borderline useless for its entire lifespan. And we keep hearing, MGL rework incoming. This is gonna be the season. Oh no, you just wait till next season. Wait till you see what we're chefing up in the kitchen. We got that MGL rework coming in hot. Okay, where's it at though? The MGL is used by a small handful of people that are very, very good with it. And you know what? Hey, as a Spear user who is really good with it, I want to shake all the MGL users' hands because we're in the same shit ship. But the fact remains that the MGL needs the rework. I've heard some people go, oh, give it the Halo Reach treatment. Make it so that the grenades, you know, when you hold the trigger down, you can detonate them in midair and they'll give like a glitch effect. I'm not going to even front. That's not a bad idea. I'd be down for that. But something has to be done. The gun cannot just sit there in this useless, pathetic state for its entire life. And if you accidentally buff it so much that it's overpowered as fuck and it's ruining the game, you'll go ahead and nerf it right into the ground because you do that shit with guns that don't even fucking need it. Before the buff at the beginning of the season, I think the V9S was just chef's kiss. Perfect. It really didn't need the range buff that they gave it, but they gave it to them, okay? And once they gave them that range buff, they opened Pandora's box and could not fucking shut it again. Because everybody realized that the V9S is actually one of the best guns on light, and so many people used it apparently that Embark nerfed it into the ground the very next patch. The very next one. Not even 2 patches. No, don't give us 2 weeks with the fun gun. No, they nerfed it into the fucking ground 1 patch later. Aside from the V9S getting nerfed into the ground, the BFR got released in Season 8, and they immediately started nerfing that too. One too many people figured out how to do a Winchclaw BFR combo, and Embark decided, oh no, that's so close to tech. We cannot have anybody using tech. Oh no, nerf it. So the BFR couldn't even have a whole fucking season of being untouched because they defiled it the minute people started figuring out how to use it. And what the fuck for? It's a revolver that reloads 1 round at a time. It's not like it's got a speed loader like the 357 does. Also keep in mind that in order to get the BFR, you have to give up the M60, the Shack, the Lewis gun, the 1216, and the sledgehammer. and the Deagles. Okay, there are 6 staple heavy guns on that class that you have to give up in order to go get the BFR. Why in the hot fucking hell are we nerfing it into the ground when you're clearly making a trade-off to take it in the first place? This whole thing, like I said, is just a really big symptom of Embark's desire to remove any and all tech. They are more focused on removing ways to melee out of a cycle animation than by actually balancing the guns to shake up the fucking landscape of the game. Look, jank is a part of every single game. In fact, some of the best games have the most jank. Look, I would rather dunk my dick in a cup full of hepatitis rather than go play Apex right now, but Apex is still popping 7 years after it came out, and it's one of the jankiest games you've ever seen. Okay, the movement in that game was never supposed to be possible. The fucking game engine that they made it out of is just such a piece of shit that it accidentally made something great. Jank gives games personality. Jank, as long as it isn't ruining the experience for people, things are gonna get abused by pro players. They get abused all the time. But for the casual players that are just looking for that little extra thing that they could implement to potentially get a little better at the game while they're learning like the overall like meta game to begin with, having a little way to go ahead and skip a cycling animation when you're already so close to someone that you could check them for fucking polyps does not hurt a game. And the fact that they have devoted so much energy to removing those things rather than keep the balance shaken up, it's annoying as fuck. Just make a player re-raise their gun before they fire again and boom, problem solved, okay? When you could skip a cycling animation with the model by shoot, smack, shoot, smack, shoot, smack, that was busted. The thing you should do to fix that, make them raise their gun again before they can shoot, okay? Because it already takes a solid half a second anyway to re-raise your gun after your elbow goes up. So the cycling animation isn't longer than that, and if they're not right in your fucking face, what's the elbow gonna do anyway? They also seem to make balancing choices based off of the casual game modes that don't really make a whole lot of fucking sense. For instance, the data reshaper and the APS turret have both been nerfed because people figured out that they were really good in power shift. Why are we nerfing something across every mode in the game because it's good in one mode? You can clearly make game mode specific changes. You can't defib and you can't revive in team deathmatch anymore. You never could when terminal attack was in the game. And in every other fucking LTM they drop, they're giving every class fucking item switches, so clearly you can make game mode specific changes to certain items. Why don't you do that? Why are you killing something in cash out because it's really strong in power shift? By that logic, why doesn't the sniper rifle shoot fucking marshmallows? It's this uneven application of their own rules that don't make any goddamn sense in the first place that is just fueling the rage behind the balancing discussions in this game. You know, and then there's just some balancing changes that make no goddamn sense. Like, for instance, why the hell are you nerfing frag grenades? If you walk into a frag grenade, what did you expect? Now that we have the red indicator on the frags, can we have the damage back? Can we have the second frag back? Frag grenades at this point basically go. So if the grenades are gonna go wee woo, then why aren't they fucking insta kills? The pyromine nerf at the beginning of this season was completely fucking uncalled for. Embark was like, oh, the pyromine is getting a little too much usage over the explosive mine, so we've decided that the pyromine needs to fly south for the winter, if you know what I'm saying. All right, I see what you're saying. Okay, all right. Here's a counter offer. Buff the explosive mine. If your usage rate for something is so high because this other thing sucks, make the other thing suck less. Oh, and last but not least, the dematerializer nerf. That shit was horrible. As I said in the Season 8 review, yeah, it was used so much that it kind of needed to be nerfed to be brought in line with the other two because there's no real way that you can make the turret better without making it fucking oppressive, and there needs to be more of an incentive to use the heal beam other than just, hey, these other things suck, why don't you use this one? Adding intentional jank to the dematerializer was the worst, okay, the worst decision they could have made to balance it out. In a game where fluid movement and quick thinking and chaos are all essential parts of the gameplay loop, you're really about to sit here and tell me the best option you could think of for balancing out the dematerializer was to make it so that sometimes my fingerprint unlocks it on the first try and sometimes it doesn't? Revert the demat jank nerf, and I mean really revert it, not the bullshit that you said you did in the middle of Season 9. actually fully revert that fucking thing. Give us 2 charges. That's fine. Make the hole in the wall smaller. That's fine. Make the hole in the wall not last as long. That's also fine. Add jank just for the sake of fucking us up when we pull it out while we're running? Speaking of shit that just doesn't make any goddamn sense anymore, class identity is no longer a fucking thing, okay? I don't know why they describe the medium as the support healing role when every single person can heal now if they bring the right gadgets. You've got the light with the healing SMG, which is honestly better than the fucking heal beam ever was. You've got the heavy with the healing emitter, which they don't even need to be actively using to heal people. They just drop it on the ground and everybody gets recharged like they got vitamin B up their ass. The B stands for butt plug. Now, in terms of the specializations, this is something that was pointed out to me by Crazy Rooster in my Discord server, so big shout out to you, Rooster. Thank you for sending me this message approximately 20 minutes before I started recording. But every single class has had their specializations adjusted to a large degree or another in the past couple of seasons, except for Lights. Lights haven't had an adjustment to any of their specializations since season 6. And before that, it was season 3. So we have the season 3 dash, the season 3 grapple, and the season 6 cloak all on the light class. Meanwhile, the medium and the heavy have had their shit fucked with so much over the past few seasons that it's not even funny. So when are we getting adjustments to light specializations? Because they need to happen. Okay, Rat, I can already hear you typing out, yeah, take away the iframes from the light dash. The light dash doesn't have iframes, your internet just sucks. Honestly, the only specialization I don't think needs any work at all is the grappling hook. I think the grappling hook works perfectly as it is now, and I don't think that thing needs any changes. But the cloak, it could use a little bit of a rework to make it better. I think the cloak should make you fully invisible, but you can't shoot or use anything while you're invisible. So make it a trade-off. Keep the vanishing bomb how it is, where you're kind of just translucent, but make me invisible when I use the cloak, but then make me fully come out of the cloak before I can shoot or do anything. That is a fair change, and that is a good one. And the dash, 2 dashes. Don't change anything else from it, just 2 dashes. And last but not least, in this horrible discussion on balancing changes, the medium class is still the worst class in the game, and it's not even fucking close. The medium's guns all get kneecapped the second they become a little fun to use, and the gadgets on medium fucking suck too, for the most part. For those of y'all that have been around here for a while, you already know exactly what I'm about to say. F the defib. And the movement gadgets that the medium class has, yeah, they're unique and they're good, but you can largely accomplish the same kind of movement with a lights gateway. So yeah, medium really doesn't have anything that it does the best out of all the 3 classes. Actually, you know what? Scratch that. I thought of one thing the medium does the best. Frustrate you. Out of all 3 classes, heavy is the strongest right now. It's not even fucking close. And it's not even the strongest because they got new things that made them the best. They're just the strongest right now because light hasn't gotten new things in 2 seasons at this point, and medium gets gimped into the ground the second anything becomes fun to use on it. So we need some love over here for the medium class. Now, the way that Embark does balancing changes makes no fucking sense to me at all, okay? I haven't heard this directly from an Embark source, but I've heard it from many people that Embark seems to make balancing changes based on pick rates, and that people have heard them say that they want pick rates to be even across the board as much as they can. Okay, I'm gonna hold your shoulder while I tell you this, but that is the stupidest fucking thing I've ever heard. You are never going to have perfect pick rates across all your items in game, and if you balance based off of pick rates so much, where's my goddamn spear buff? Where's the goddamn MGL rework? Where's the goddamn double barrel nerf? Clearly, you only balance based off of pick rates when you feel like it, so how about you either fairly apply that logic to everything, or you apply it to nothing? Because there's another game right now that also has the problem of balancing things based off of pick rates. Funny enough, I've already talked about it, and that's Apex. Balancing based off of pick rates is how you go from a 2% pick rate on Ashe to a 33% pick rate on Ashe. There's almost one on every single team. Look, I was an Ashe enjoyer before they changed her kit up, but are you really sitting here and telling me that this is a better solution than just making everything fun to use? Are you really telling me that? Clearly, the balancing department has a fucking problem, and they need to get their shit together. Because it's not just a final specific issue. Arc Raiders has the same problem too. Go ahead and ask anybody who plays Arc Raiders how they're feeling about the new crafting requirements points they've got for shit, and you will hear a fucking Gettysburg Address about how bullshit it is that you now need Rocketeer drivers to craft wolf packs, the things you use to kill Rocketeers. Or maybe about how they nerfed the Trailblazer into the fucking ground, making it borderline useless against bigger arc, and then also increased the crafting requirements. Embark, I don't know who you learned your balancing philosophy from, but unlearn it. Seriously, unlearn it. Holy shit, I've been yelling for an hour and 10 minutes. God damn, this is gonna be a long video. Now, unless you have been living under a rock or just not playing the game at all, the unemployment problem, the cheating and smurfing in the finals has gotten really bad in the past few seasons. Now, I gotta give a huge shout out to Hazed and Confused, because this man and his ginormous set of balls just plainly came out and said it. If you smurf, you're a fucking loser. And he's an Embark partner that's coming out and saying that. So, dude, if I ever meet you IRL, please let me shake your hand and buy you a fucking Big Mac. But no, smurfing is horrible right now. And it's been bad for as long as multiplayer games have existed for the most part, but it's really bad in the finals. But if you're unaware of what a Smurf is a high-level player that makes a brand new account so that their skill-based matchmaking can be rock bottom right in with the fucking new people, and they then use that account to go and either stomp public matches because, hey, they can't hang in their own fucking lobbies, or they go ahead and they stomp ranked with lower ranked people for money, or to grief people out of higher ranks to keep themselves up in Ruby. And to any of you out there that have unfortunately gotten into higher skill lobbies than you can hang in, and you're stuck losing every single game because the SBMM just won't calm down for you, I have something that I need to tell you, okay? And this is coming from the heart. If you are smurfing because you can't hang in your Ruby lobbies anymore, touch grass. Get a fucking job. Do anything other than ruin everybody else's nice time. You can pretty easily tell who these Smurfs are because they're brand new low-level accounts that have the game sense of someone who's put 1,000 hours into the game with immaculate aim. Sometimes they're just fucking straight up cheating too. And you know what? There are some of them that are just so blatant about it that they don't even try to fucking hide it because Embark does not enforce bans on them. And this is the crux of why this particular problem pisses me and most other people off so fucking much. If you take a look behind me at Embark's terms of service, per the code of conduct, you will not use the services in any manner that, in Nexon's sole discretion, is unlawful and could damage, disable, overburden, or impair the services, or interfere with Nexon's or any other's use or enjoyment of that service, without limiting the generality of the further going. Prohibited conduct includes the following, subject to applicable law: using hacks, cracks, bots, third-party softwares that may modify temporarily or permanently the code or the user experience of the service, whether locally on your own device or on server, or using any application, software, or technology that is not expressly authorized by us that enables cheating, power leveling, or accomplishing game tasks that cannot be accomplished without the use of such an application, software, or technology. Okay, I don't know about y'all, but smurfing is a crack that perfectly allows you to go into places where you don't fucking belong and ruin the experience for other people. It is literally spelled out in the terms of service right fucking there that you cannot smurf, okay? So Embark, I'm going to hold your shoulder when I tell you this because I care about you and I really don't want to see this game go the way of Smite 1. Stand on your fucking terms of service and ban the fucking Smurfs. Smurfing is clearly power leveling, which is against Embark's terms of service, so why the fuck are these people not getting banned? They have touted this behavioral analysis anti-cheat measure that they fucking love so much, and yet it has done fuck all. Clearly, if it was as good as they say it is, they could figure out, this brand new account is moving like someone that's been in Ruby for the past 3 seasons. Go throw him back in his own lobbies. Okay, it really should not be that hard. If you're over here and you fucking drop a 30-0 game just stomping shit and then you immediately hop into ranked and you start stomping in there too, you should be kicked immediately back to Ruby where you belong, and your side account should now be fucking worthless. Congratulations on wasting several dozen hours of your life to play one single ranked game before you got thrown back to the stratosphere. That's how this shit should be, but it's not. They just keep playing throughout the season and keep ruining everybody else's climbs because, by the way, while they're sitting down in silver and and gold, trying to keep people out of plat and above. All the rest of us are trying to get out of fucking silver hell. Even outside of the smurfing itself, that's a problem. It seems that this behavioral analysis cheat detection just isn't working. Me and Combo and Rat and anybody else that I play this game with run into several blatant cheaters every time we play the game, and we report them, and then we hear nothing back. Embark has come out and said, oh, but you know, those bans, they take a while because we don't want to accidentally falsely ban people, you know? I mean, clearly that's a lie because you falsely ban people all the time, but at what point do you admit that you need to be a little harder about this? Because there's no way in hot fucking hell someone is going to have 100% accuracy with a fully automatic weapon in this game. Like, that should just be an immediate fucking red flag. If you have 100% accuracy with any fucking gun in this game, you're sus as shit. Some people are gonna go out and say, oh, but funny man, what about multiple people that play on the same computer or on the same console? Don't they have the right to have their own separate accounts? Yeah, they do. The fucking problem is that you would have stats for those other accounts. You wouldn't be on a fresh fucking account stomping shit out of nowhere. The Finals is a game that has a lot more to it than just mechanical aim, okay? There is a lot of game sense, there's a lot of game flow, there's a lot of gadgets that just straight up aren't in other games. And if you come right out of the fucking gate moving like you've done this before and immediately stomping everyone you come across, maybe, just maybe, they should pay attention to that, okay? If somebody makes a new account, they're gonna be on the same hardware, same player behavior, brand new account, same IP address and everything. Go ahead and throw them to the top of the elo ladder and pull it up behind them and leave them there. And there are going to be some people that are like,
Oh, funny, I don't want Embark having all that information about me. What, are you promoting surveillance?
buddy, I'm just going to hold your hand while I tell you this. They already fucking have it. The amount of telemetry that gaming companies alone take from your computer whenever you use it is kind of astonishing. Shit, I bet that if they could take data on whether or not you have a fucking polyp in your colon, they'd take that too. But they can't because we don't have anal bead controllers yet. But no, they already have that kind of data, so why aren't they using it for anything actually productive for the game? There is no legitimate reason to smurf, there is no reason to cheat whatsoever, and honestly, Embark, aside from all that, you guys need to hire some fucking cybersecurity too, because the amount of times that I went on the Finals Discord, or the Arc Raiders Discord for that matter, and y'all came out and said that you're having server issues, or you're blatantly just saying, yeah, we're getting DDoSed right now. Like, Arc Raiders has sold over 1 million copies. You're telling me you don't have the resources to reinvest in server security? Nexon is a huge corporation, okay? They've been one of the gaming giants, and the CEO of Embark just became the CEO of Nexon. So use some of that influence and help your homies out, okay? 3 more topics to go. 3 more topics to go. Let's go. Whoa. So I touched on this a little bit earlier in the video, but the RS adjustments that they made to ranked this season, they did help out to soften the blow of when you get first rounded. And I'm not going to say that ranked this season sucked as hard as it has in some seasons past. I mean, hell, I didn't even bother getting to gold in season 8 because it was just such a shit fest. But ranked still has a pretty big fucking problem that they refuse to address in any way, shape, or form. I want you to go ahead and take a look at this picture back here. All right. What do you see? Well, you see me. You see me right there and my handsomeness all dolled up after a nice game of ranked. Oh, you've got my teammate over here, you know, I mean, hell, he was putting in some work too, you know, a little bit of a rough go for us. We did get first rounded, but anywho. Come over here to the side and see this brand fucking new player in my gold 2 lobby. This is not okay at all. I touched on this last season when I touched on how ranked was kind of a fucking cesspool because you were getting matched up with diamond players and above whenever you go into ranked, even though you're nowhere near it. Why the hell does Embark allow people that are clearly so different in rank to go ahead and pair up with each other when they don't belong in the same lobbies? Okay, Rat has dubbed this phenomena the gold boyfriend, bronze girlfriend syndrome. Third shout out to Rat in this video. Hope you're doing well, buddy. I know we haven't talked in a minute, but this shit is straight up unacceptable. Why are people allowed to queue up together when their ranks are so far apart like this? If people are partying up with gaps this large, that's a problem and that needs to get stopped. Okay, but if the random matchmaking is giving us a gap this large, that's an even bigger fucking problem. Because how the hell is anybody supposed to solo queue ranked when you can pretty reliably get paired up with people that do not belong in your lobbies? Okay, and that's on the giving end and the receiving end. I don't want a Ruby on my team who's just gonna fucking airlift me. That kind of defeats the whole purpose of ranked. I also don't want a bronze person on my team that I'm gonna have to try to airlift out of gold. For anybody who has sat in silver ranked hell, you know what I'm talking about. If you don't have people to queue with to get out of silver, a lot of times you just end up staying there for a good chunk of the season. There's been a lot of discussion around potential fixes for ranked, and there's no one that's going to make everybody happy, but here are some options we've got. First, reduce ranked to 2 rounds, a qualifier and a final round. Personally, I don't love that. I think that the 3-round system is just fine for ranked. I mean, sure, you'd get into games quicker and you'd probably have more games to play, but I imagine that if they implemented a 2-round system, it would probably go back to giving you colossal losses anytime you die first round, and I'm not down for that. Second option, implement a ranked cap so that you can limit how far apart people can be. So let's say you can only be, like 7,500 RS away from each other in the team. So there can be no greater than a 7,500 RS gap between everybody you're partied up with. That, I think, would be a much better fix.
Oh, but funny, I'm in diamond and all my friends are in gold.
Then tell them to get the fuck out of gold.
Oh, but then I can't play with them.
You shouldn't be playing ranked with them anyway. I don't know when this whole notion came along of the top level people need to be able to queue up with the bottom level people to airlift them up, but no. Then there's this whole sector of people that would say,
oh, but if you restrict that, then there'll be no rubies playing ranked anymore and they're just going to go smurf more.
Well, they shouldn't be fucking smurfing anyway, should they? We just went over that.
Oh, but then they're going to go play World Tour or pubs and they're going to stomp there.
Okay, that's where they're supposed to stomp. Look, I'm not fucking happy that sometimes I log onto the game to have a nice relaxing evening and then I get a fucking prostate exam 30 years too early. But you know what? It fucking happens sometimes. There are 500 rubies out of every single person that plays ranked. Why are we catering the game to 500 players? That makes no fucking sense. As far as the esports scene goes, Embark needs to take their focus off of that completely. Now, look, if you thought that this was the video that I was going to stand in front of a fucking camera and make fun of the Jeshi files, you're wrong. There are some things that just aren't funny to joke about, and that whole situation was fucked. So you're not going to hear me make any jokes about it. But all I'm saying is that I hope Embark learned to never cater a whole fucking season to the esports corner of the community ever again. The last thing we need is season 8.5 electric slide. That shit would probably kill the game. The focus on esports has already hurt the game immeasurably. It's not like we didn't just have a whole long fucking discussion about balance changes and how there were none in season 8 because they wanted to keep the game solid for the esports scene. Not only that, the biggest announcement from Embark this whole season about the game was their stupid fucking RFI system, which they've already put a lid on because once again, the Jeshi thing was fucked up. And 2 people whose names I'm not even going to bother to fucking remember because they're absolutely worthless to me just ruined the whole comp scene for all of those people. Along with Embark's actions, because they were not innocent in all of that either. They did not handle things well, but they really should have just let the casual community be the main driver of the game. The hardcore players are always going to be here. The casual players are the ones you need to sustain growth and sustain revenue and make the game profitable. Because look, I get it. I don't want to live in a world where everything is driven by profit either, but I fucking am. And if the game isn't making money, it can't stay online. So stop, for the love of Christ, catering to the esports people. Okay, so if they're worried that fun balance changes are going to ruin ranked, just have item bans in ranked like they do in every other game. Once again, Embark, stop making me fucking praise COD. But COD every year has a list of banned items that you can't use in ranked play. Because they know, hey, these are kind of unfair if you use them in ranked. We don't want to take them out because they're fun for pubs and the main game mode that most people play, but in ranked, no go. I see no reason why we couldn't have a couple of banned items on every class in ranked if we wanted to go that route. Let them be fun, just take them out of the competitive environment, or if we want to go ahead and take a different route, Siege, Smite, and Marvel Rivals all let their teams ban characters and operators in between rounds. because it turns into a strategic thing. You know, what gods do we want to ban? What ops do we want to ban? What heroes do we want to ban? If someone is truly OP and does not belong in a competitive setting, the people will take them out for you. So across all 8 teams in the tournament, give every player 1 vote of something that they want to ban out of the tournament, and an item needs to get 3 votes in order to actually get banned. Across 32 players, if nobody can agree on something that they want banned, then everybody gets to use whatever they want. And if a whole bunch of people all say, oh yeah, no, this needs to be banned, we can't be playing against this, then everybody can shake each other's hands and agree not to use them. And then after you go ahead and have a ban phase, give people some extra time to form their loadouts if something they were going to use ended up getting banned. That, I think, is probably the most fair system that then allows us to also have really fun balancing changes that aren't going to ruin the competitive scene, because once again, a gentleman's agreement system is probably the only sane way that we can have both the chaos and the structure in the same game to deal with the fucking smurfing issue in ranked, because that's where most of these fuckers are. Something that a couple of games have started doing is they've required phone numbers to play ranked, or they've required like a single purchase to be made to have access to ranked. And look, I get it. There's going to be some people going, funny, I'm broke. I can't afford to buy something to play ranked. Dude, I feel for you. I've been there myself as well. But if I had to give up my ability to play ranked to make sure that the mode is actually more fun to play and isn't fucking infested with people just making repeat accounts, then I'm okay with that. Or if it's a verified phone number, because most people, no matter how much of a fucking basement dweller they are, only have one phone. So make them register that phone number with the account so that you have verification that it's a person and not a fucking ghost or a smurf account, and then let them play ranked. There are so many ways to fix the ranked situation that don't involve just RS adjustments, and I really hope that one of them gets picked for next season, because it's getting rough out here, guys. Ladies and gentlemen, Funny Man has cracked a second Waterloo. Oscar, put on a dress and get in front of the fucking camera. This game is so unknown to so many people because they don't market it for fucking shit. Many of the problems that I've described in this video are the result of low player counts, okay? The smurfing and the ranked issues, just being straight up. We need more players in this player base. We really do. And we're not going to get them if all the focus is on the fucking esports and there's no branching out to people to try to get them to get in the game. Like hell, take a look at this fake fucking finals commercial that I made just specially for this video.
Have you ever wanted to walk up to an ATM machine, beat 2 little people over the head with a sledgehammer, and then steal all their hard-earned money from their 15-hour unpaid shift at the ball crushing factory? Well, that's what it feels like to play the finals.
That was long, and that was a better fucking commercial than I've ever seen the finals put on YouTube or anywhere else. Ever. This game does no marketing for itself whatsoever, and the only people that ever get shown Embark's videos about teasing upcoming content or anything are the people that are already playing the game. I get bombarded with advertisements for games that I have no desire to play all the fucking time. And yeah, I don't go and play them, but I know about them. And someday when I want to try them, maybe I will. But I would never know about these things if I didn't see them in a goddamn YouTube ad. Many issues in this game would be alleviated if we just had better player counts, but we're never going to get there if they don't fucking push it. Outside of that, they entirely rely on the player base that's already here to go ahead and bring in new players, and it's just not a good system. I'm sorry. Look, if you enjoy the Recruit to Rise system, good for you. Go ahead and give your Smurf a high five on the way out the fucking door, right back to the junkyard where you belong. Because for the most part, the Recruit to Rise program doesn't encourage new players, it just encourages people to Smurf. You know, another thing that could help bring back old players, or perhaps even bring in some new ones that are excited for the things to come to the game, is a roadmap. Okay, Arc Raiders has been out for less than 6 months, and they already have a full roadmap for the first 4 months of the year. The finals is on year 2. Year 2, and they don't have a single roadmap. The only thing we've gotten for the past couple seasons as far as upcoming releases is just, oh, we're cooking, let us cook. You're not going to want to miss what we're chefing up in the kitchen. Brother, we cannot just sit here and let you cook forever. At some point, you have to tell us what you're cooking. You don't even have to get into the specifics of what exactly it is you're cooking. Just tell us the fucking shape of what you're cooking, okay? Is it cake shaped? Is it roast beef shaped? Is it new map shaped? Is it new gun shaped? please just give us something to look forward to. Because ever since they started stealth dropping these fucking seasons with no lead up, they have just been getting more and more disappointing. Okay, the instant you should have known that there was going to be something wrong with season 8 is when they gave you like 24 hours notice of new shit. And honestly, the only reason I think that we got any kind of announcement for season 9 was because they realized,
our player numbers are dropping. Guess they're not watching the major, huh? All right, well, go ahead and throw something together real quick so that we can tell them that we got some new shit for them.
outside of that, I'm sure they would have completely stealth dropped season 9 if they would have had that option too. 2 years into the finals life cycle, and the only fucking map I see is the one they threw together to show you the next road to the majors, only 45 days after the first one ended. Oh, I'm sorry, I guess even if the majors are still fucking happening this year, since apparently, nope. Not joking about it. Esports alone will not build this game up, and the game is going to have a lot of people start to wonder why they're still sticking around if they don't start having some content for the casual player base and they don't start telling us what new things are coming. Look, as much as I fucking despise Siege and the state it's in, Ubisoft will at least give us a silhouette of what they're coming out with in the next year or so. The finals has done none of that. And they really need to. Standing so long, my knees hurt. Don't become obese, kids. Work out while you're young. And last, but certainly not the lowest price, haha, the microtransactions. Most of the updates we've had this season and last season were for the shop. Take a look at how many fucking esports bundles we got last season, and take a look at how many new shop bundles we got this season. It's absolutely fucking ridiculous. In the absence of balance changes, content, or anything else, we keep getting things to buy. Season 8 had more esports content than the last 3 seasons combined content. That's insane. And look, I'm not naive. I know Nexon is a giant fucking corporation and they're gonna get their money no matter what. Little known fact about me, but as a young lad, I used to play another Nexon game, a little ditty called Maple Story. It's a side-scrolling KRPG, but when I started playing this game when I was in the 2nd grade, Maple Story already had microtransactions in it before most of the rest of the gaming industry even knew what they were. Nexon had microtransactions down when Halo 2 was releasing its first map pack. So if anybody in the world understands Nexon is going to get their money, it's me. But in lieu of content, they have just kept adding things to the shop to buy, and it's getting really fucking frustrating at this point. Like, it's especially insulting that after how poorly the TGM 25 pass was received, they went and did another mid-season battle pass. And to make matters worse, that mid-season battle pass replaced the free Valentine's Day content that we normally get. I know I already talked about that earlier, but it deserves to be restated that every year this game has been out, we have gotten free cosmetics to grind for Valentine's Day, and this year we were told to buy it or shut the fuck up. Okay, and this was another huge thing this season that just completely killed my motivation to play this game. I don't want to just play this game and be like, oh, hey guys, check it out, new bundle in the shop. By the way, I want there to be fun things to cover. I want there to be good things to talk about. But I'm not about to sit here and shill for the shop like I'm a fucking Embark partner. I'm not. If they want me to shill for their shop, put me on the payroll. But I give this game plenty of free advertising by making it the entire thing that my channel is about. And yeah, the super cash ball thing, bringing it back for one weekend accompanied by a whole bunch of shit to buy, it just leaves a horrible taste in your mouth. It felt like they were trying to goad us into spending money by yo-yoing our favorite LTM in front of our faces. I know super cash ball isn't universally loved, but it's largely considered to be the best LTM this game has ever had. Unless Gooby starts coming out and talking about Steal the Spotlight, in which case, go off, femboy. But it's not just the fact that they keep pumping out shit for us to buy from the shop. The quality of the shop itself seems to be degrading, even though it's the thing they're clearly putting the most time into. For example, you might have seen these BFR animations come out recently, and you know what? They do look pretty cool. Too bad you have to buy each and every one of them separately. The recolors, the re-releases, just their effort with the cosmetics has gotten so just lazy lately, and yet it's the thing that they're putting the most dev time into, clearly. It's honestly really discouraging to, even really want to play the game all that much. So with all of that being said, I have made the decision going forward that unless they get the shop slop under control, I will no longer be buying the battle pass. And I would encourage all of you to do the same, okay? If season 10 comes out and it is an absolute banger, they bring us new content, they bring us new balance changes, they shake up the game, they reintroduce some old content that they've taken out for no fucking reason, cough, game show events, cough, maybe tweak the rank system a little more to try to further refine it, they get the anti-cheat more under control, and they finally start doing something about the Smurfs, then I will go ahead and buy the battle pass again because they will have re-earned my business. But unless they get that shop slop under control and start reinvesting into the game itself, I'm done spending money on it. And I really hate to fucking say that because the less people spending money on the game, the more likely it is that the game becomes unprofitable. But like most of the rest of us, I'm fucking broke. And I don't want to spend what little money I have supporting a company that thinks that I'm going to be okay with just paying for pixels and nothing else. All right, the timer on my OBS is hitting an hour and 52 minutes at this point, so I've said about everything that can be said. But anywho, that is going to go ahead and wrap it up for today's mega discussion on how to save the finals. I know it was kind of ranty and a little bit negative, but these are things that are really important to be said, and all of these things deserve to have their own large discussions. Big shout out to our comedy club members. It's your boy Jesse011, Fatso Aim, otherwise known as BT, the Bextraterrestrial. Shameless plug as always. Join the Discord, he's the mod in there. He's a pretty cool guy. Fatal Sky 09, Boom 32, Montreal 8333, and Layla Bell 1029. Thank you all again so much for watching once more. I really hope that this is the end of my creative slump with this game. I want the game to be inspiring and to feel good again. So here's to hoping that in a week or so, they come out with some really banger content. But until then, my name is Funny Man, and I will see you all in the next episode. Bye.